HousingWire covers the entire housing ecosystem, from real estate to mortgage and everything in between.
Yes.
What's really cool is there's a lot of passionate people here, just like you. And it is so amazing to see just these minds come together.
This was stuff that was closed off years ago. Like, nobody was doing anything. Nobody was podcasting about the mortgage industry, and there were no thought leaders in the space. Everyone just stuck to their own lane. All of a sudden, in the last, 5-10 years, there's been this explosion of everyone coming together at events like this. That's what excites me, and I think there's huge opportunities that go well beyond it.
It's like family.
It is, for sure.
Yeah,
I always love seeing you at these things.
I love seeing you.
Hi, my friend. Definitely not in San Francisco, as evidenced by the desert scene here, guys. In Scottsdale, Arizona, for HousingWire's The Gathering. This event now is replacing the 2 or 3 big events that they do year-round. It's been insane so far. There's close to 1,000 people here. The reason why I come to this particular event and why it's one of my most favorite that I go to year-round is because every C-level executive, every huge thought leader, entrepreneur, people that are changing, disrupting the real estate space, the mortgage industry, the leaders of all these companies that write the checks and make the decisions, they're all here. They're all here talking about what's going on with the industry right now, the commission lawsuits, all these debates, how are people going to survive. There's a huge buzz, a lot of anxiety as well. You can feel it in all these rooms. We're going to cover the entire event, and this is going to be important for anyone that works in real estate, as well as consumers, to hear about what's happening and where things go. Let's get into this. One of the guys that I heard at HousingWire Annual back in October was Chris Sears, who's the president of JPAR. Very big, powerful real estate company based out of Houston. He was actually one of the first people to talk about the NAR lawsuit. Caught my attention. It was still really, really early. Very few people knew about it. I feel like he kind of broke the news, but he was speaking on stage earlier, and I want to try and catch him because he talks a lot about the human aspect of business and that things aren't transactional, and how you build client relationships instead of just dealing with customers, and that there has to be philanthropy and impact involved in everything we do in this business and industry if it's going to survive all the disruption. I want to try and catch him if we can as soon as he comes off stage here.
Well, so I've always wanted to build business that makes impact per transaction. I mean, it's not revenue per transaction comes. And when we focus on trying to capture a majority of the real estate transactions inside a brokerage ecosystem as mortgage partners, you have to focus on impact. There's really no other way you can do it. You can do an MSA, you can do a JV, that's it, right? So as long as the MSA and the JV are profitable, that's great. But you can't really say, well, we want to, out of our partnership, we want to close 100 transactions this month. That doesn't resonate with anybody, right? But if I look at my agents, I say, out of our mortgage partnerships, we want to feed 1,000 families this month. Now all of a sudden they're like, oh, I have a goal. I can buy into that goal. And the mortgage partners are great, so let me just start using them because I want to hit that 1,000 family goal.
Right.
And now we didn't get a chance to talk about it on the stage, but we served, the first year we did this, which was 2023, we fed 40,000 families.
Amazing.
It's great.
Yeah.
And so now our goal this year is 100,000 families.
Fantastic.
So that's how it works.
I love it. So for lenders that are here, and there's a lot of them, that are listening to agents talk about what's going on and how this market is going to change, how the whole industry is going to change, what's going to go on with business, they've got to figure out the best ways to serve their partners. And the biggest block of partners or referral sources for most lenders are real estate agents. But now that real estate agents are going through their own change and, you know, the industry is kind of under a little bit of fire here and disruption, how are lenders going to best figure out that way to bridge that gap? What value can they bring to the transaction where they know this is exactly what my agent partners need? This is going to help. This is going to be a great marriage and we can become real partners, because it can't just be about doing loans for agents anymore or trying to earn their business. Like, agents now need to figure out how they're going to gain market share, how they're going to be able to market better, how they're going to facilitate transactions and create a better consumer experience. So the better lenders will be able to help make those connections and add value to the relationship and lock in basically a long-term business partner, a real partner. Mayi de la Vega, who's the CEO of One Sotheby's Realty, based out of Miami. Really super interesting woman. She's from Spain. I wanted to see if we can actually try and catch her as well to talk about that very question. How can lenders better serve their partners?
I think lenders have always played a very important role in the success of taking a property and providing the financing and taking it to the closing table. So I believe now more than ever, your help in ensuring that somehow we can finance some of these buyers that want to hire agents to represent them, and somehow that we can include that legally in the closing statement would be pivotal and very important and would really help the industry.
All right, and do you feel there's a role also for lenders that are trying to evolve as marketers? Because marketing for agents and exerting their value is clearly very important. But for lenders that are doing, is there a way that lenders can also offer that kind of value in helping out agent partners as well to become better marketers?
I think becoming better marketers is always super important. I think lenders, I think everybody has to stay in their expert wheel, like their lane. So I think lenders can continue to evolve, grow, learn more of the better practices in marketing and just support the agents. And by doing that, I think they can form great partnerships and move ahead.
Okay. For lenders in certain markets, they are really kind of categorized or compartmentalized as just vendors. Like when an agent passes off a deal, they'll just refer it, and then there's this separation. My market in San Francisco, it's been changing for a good few years now, and I've really tried to force that change because they should be in alignment. There should be a real partnership there. They should be working in lockstep together. So Scott Durkin, who's the president and CEO of Douglas Elliman Real Estate in Manhattan, New York is a really standoffish place when it comes to these types of transactions. I want to ask him his opinion about how that relationship could get better, because on the West Coast, I feel like it's doing this, whereas in other places, everyone just stays in their lane. So let's see what his thoughts are as a New Yorker about this. Let's see. And we were just casually discussing here about how relationships between lenders and agents, because he has agents all over the country. But we were talking about how there can be better alignment. Do you see that relationship potentially strengthening based on some of the things I was telling you?
I do. I think it should be a stronger relationship, especially now with the interest rates where they are, and people, especially our clients, not feeling comfortable about being able to afford home purchase, and they don't know if they'll even get a loan. I think it's paramount that the lender and the agent work together in tandem and really bring this through to a closing. And also, I mean, there are things that you do that we probably need help with, like in marketing, and we don't always talk about the ancillary services we offer,
Right.
And I know you do a lot of videos, so that would be something we could be involved in.
That would be a way that we could partner. Right?
I mean, he's captivating, right?
He's a very kind guy.
Yeah.
But that's a way that relationships can evolve, right? Instead of just trying to solicit for business, why don't we find ways to add value, right? Why don't we find ways to help? Because agents need to become better and more effective marketers all the time. That's something they constantly need to evolve with. They're great at the transaction, they're great with contracts and all the other nuance, but sometimes the marketing part slips off. Lenders try and shore that up. They can add something to the relationship and now create a little bit of a bond going forward, right? Just like I should take this gentleman out and have him help me find sport coats like this, which would add value because I need one today. Scott, thanks.
Thank
we
you
appreciate
so
it.
much.
It was really good meeting you, my friend. Last time we saw this guy, it was in San Francisco at our event, but he has been on a barnstorm chase sprint across the country, talking about the company, what's going on with very, very exciting stuff. If you follow it closely, if you don't, make sure you do. Andrew Flachner, CEO and founder of Real Scout. Andrew, what's the latest with the company, man? Like, what are you up to? Because I can't keep track of you. I know we miss each other on text a lot, but eventually we catch up.
That's right.
And then we ran into you here.
I know, it's great seeing you.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Real Scout has always had a mission to help real estate agents drive more value to their clients, and there's never been a more important time to do that than now, especially in the wake of the NAR settlement news. It's important to drive value earlier in the relationship, so when it comes to having a conversation about agency, it's a much easier conversation to have because you've already been building that relationship and creating that value for clients. So whether it's sending home value updates or market activity, market data, property alerts, you want to do that earlier in the process. So Real Scout's been doing a lot of that for the past 12 years, but recently we've hit a new level of growth.
Yes,
word's
very
been
exciting.
getting around. We are working not only with the biggest brokerages and brands in the country, but we're also working with a lot of the top teams and top agents across the U.S. So it's been a really aggressive stretch of growth, and we're all about it.
Yeah, I'm excited for you, man. I follow it closely, so I hear all these updates and see him. Plus, I have the privilege of, calling this guy a friend and following him close and keeping in touch. But this company's going to take the country by storm, so you better be ready for it, man. Keep it up, brother.
Thanks, Arjun.
Proud of you, man.
All right.
What excites you about the future of our industry?
Just the opportunities with media and collaboration. Like, this was stuff that was closed off years ago. Like, nobody was doing anything. Nobody was podcasting about the mortgage industry, and there were no thought leaders in the space. Everyone just stuck to their own lane. All of a sudden, in the last, 5-10 years, there's been this explosion of everyone coming together at events like this. That's what excites me, and I think there's huge opportunities that go well beyond it. One of the very first people I met at HousingWire when I came to the events about 3 years ago, it was a guy named Anthony Djon. He is the CEO of Anthony Djon Luxury Real Estate, which is a group of 100 agents, the biggest team of real estate agents in the state of Michigan. But I want to catch him and talk to him about the lawsuit, how he's leading his team, because that's a big thing now. A lot of scared agents out there, so let's go try and find this guy. I don't know where he's at, but let's try and find him. So of course the NAR settlement is on everyone's mind here. It's been the talk of the whole conference. People not getting too specific or commenting, but we're all dancing around it. Anthony leads a group of 100 agents, right? It's the biggest team in the state of Michigan. It's a massive team. What are you telling your agents? How to deal with this or not deal with it?
Well, here's what I said. It's business as usual as of right now, right? I'm not a doom and gloom guy. I don't believe really a lot of changes are coming, but I do believe, and this is what I tell my people, look, transparency is key. You gotta be transparent with your clients. Customer service has to be next level, and you have to show your worth to your customer on why they want to work with you as a buyer's agent. Other than that, we've got to wait from the hierarchy to see what changes, if anything changes at all. I know that there's going to be disclosure changes, that's for sure.
Sure.
But till then, stay positive. Don't be doom and gloom. All will be well. And I'll tell you this, you got to work harder than you've ever worked in your life, because let me tell you, there's going to be a big shift coming, and you want to be shifted onto the green pastures, not the dead pastures.
The person who actually is the real boss, who runs this entire event, is this woman here, Jennifer, who's become a really dear friend. I love coming to these events. She's been one of the people that's kind of connected me to so many others here. But what I'm most impressed with, I have to tell you, in the way of feedback, has been like this whole combining of mortgage, real estate, and technology, all converging in one space.
I'm glad you love it.
Has been phenomenal. And I think the ripple effect from this event is going to be so much more powerful than any of the previous ones. I'm sure it's a little bit obvious, but maybe there's more to it. What inspired that move to do it? Was it just because we're tired of doing multiple events, or we just want to do one, and we want to take a vacation the rest of the year? Like, what was it?
Yeah, so I'm not going to lie and say putting on an event is a big lift. Doing it twice is double the lift. But more importantly, HousingWire covers the entire housing ecosystem, from real estate to mortgage and everything in between.
Yes.
It only makes sense for us to have an event that is the full picture, that brings everybody together so everybody can learn from each other, understand the topics and challenges that each one of us is having individually in our own day-to-day, and talk about how do we come together, how do we fix these, because it only helps us both. And then in between, let's talk about topics that we are both really interested in.
Yes.
So that's what you're seeing today on Tuesday and tomorrow. You're seeing these crossover topics.
Even the regulatory environment, right, which is a hot topic, right? But this affects all of us.
Absolutely. And AI, there's some great announcements about AI and conversation about that. That affects everybody, the whole housing ecosystem. So to bring both groups together and really get that full picture view and learn from both sides, that's why we did it.
Amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well done, Jennifer.
Yeah.
Really well done. A big part of conferences are vendors. At this particular conference, all of these vendors and sponsors that have these booths out here, these little kiosks, all are like industry-moving, hugely pivotal bits of technology that have a massive impact on the real estate market. Like, they're going to change the market. So there's companies out here that are pitching solutions for that. There's other companies that are pitching on improving consumer credit. Others that are trying to improve the processes for businesses, like mortgage companies or real estate companies, aggregating data, whatever it is. There's so many cool things that are going on right now. It's actually incredibly cool to hear about all this stuff before it ever comes to market, but you got to be at these events to actually learn about it, so that's why I come. So we've been talking to a lot of the event organizers and the people that have been speaking, but I need to also catch up with people who are attending this conference to see what they've been getting out of it, right? So I ran into my good friend Kayla. What have you enjoyed most about the gathering?
Hands down, it's the connections, it's the people, it's the knowledge. The iron sharpens iron, right?
Yep.
And when you can get around dinner, or you can get around a table and talk about what the challenges are in these markets and what you can do to help borrowers and collaborate. You know, we've got a lot of realtors here that attended earlier.
Yeah.
And I just love the collaboration of the minds, the people that continually want to push forward to make home ownership an option when it doesn't even feel like it's available to anybody.
Right.
And what's really cool is there's a lot of passionate people here, just like you. And it is so amazing to see just these minds come together. And when you're sitting, no matter where you're at dinner or your breakfast, you can constantly hear the chatter, and it's passion. And that is the coolest part about HousingWire.
Yep. And people, like, the more you come to these events, like, you actually develop these cool friendships,
Yeah,
right? It's kind of like this
best
cool,
friends.
it's like a cool co-ed fraternity.
I know, it's like a reunion. You're like,
Yeah.
you're going to the next one, will you be there? Can we collaborate? And then you've got DMs, and you've got new numbers, and you're connected everywhere, and you look forward to meeting again.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like family.
It is, for sure.
Yeah.
I always love
HousingWire
seeing you at
family.
these things.
I love seeing you.
All right, my friend.
Always fun.
So, this is Clayton Collins, the CEO of HW Media, which owns HousingWire. They put on this entire event. This is a good friend, somebody that I look up to and admire. All of us in our industry appreciate everything he does. I want to ask Clayton, because this is the important thing. I talked about it a little bit earlier. The importance of media now, and honest, straightforward media that's rooted in data and fact is going to play an even bigger role in housing going forward. Yeah. Clayton, how do you see your responsibility in your role? Because mainstream media has an agenda, right? So when they talk about housing, a little bit of an agenda there in an angle. I'm not saying they're trying to mislead, but they're trying to stoke and kind of stir the pot and rip up emotions and all that.
Yeah.
How do you guys feel? Because people say like HousingWire, like, oh, it's kind of straightforward and dull, it's not sexy enough. But that's sexy to me, right? Like, how do you feel about it?
Yeah, Arjun, I mean, I think with everything in life, like, focus has a lot of power. And at HousingWire, HB Media, we are focused on housing. We're focused on bringing the full picture to housing professionals. And the power of that means that I have team members and reporters, journalists, data analysts, and product managers that think about housing all day, every day. That's all they think about.
Yeah.
Cycle in, cycle out. High volume, low volume, high rates, low rates. You start to understand the relationships. You start to understand the data at a level as somebody who's a passerby, someone who isn't in this industry all the time, isn't thinking about housing all the time, just can't start to connect those dots and really understand the full picture. So we have a ton of respect for the reporting and analysis and publishing that some of the mainstream business publications or mainstream consumer publications do. But I understand that some of the people that work on publishing that content, aren't purely focused on housing. So we always look for like opportunities to partner with some of the bigger publications and like talk about the knowledge and understanding that we have of the housing industry and bring that forward to consumers. I don't really think that mainstream media is out there trying to misrepresent facts. They're trying to tell a story for the consumer who doesn't think about housing every day.
Right.
And housing is complex, complicated ecosystem where the rates and origination trends and servicing and secondary all play a role in the inventory that we have in the market and the affordability of the houses that consumers want.
And I know how busy this has been and what it takes to put on such something like this. Like a 4-day, I can't even imagine.
Dude,
I did a 2-day.
4 was big, but we brought some huge speakers to the stage, brought some amazing guests out here to Scottsdale, and I can't wait for the Gathering 2025. We're bringing them to the Broadmoor in Colorado, which is one of our favorite resorts.
Don't miss it. If you missed out on this one and you're watching this through the vlog, make sure you're here for the real thing next time. I appreciate it, Clayton. We all do in the industry. Thanks for all you do for us, man.
Thanks a lot.
All right, that is a wrap. What a 4-day event. The Gathering absolutely killed it. The entire team, everyone, the entire staff, all the support people. You guys knocked it out of the park. You could like far with the best HousingWire event that is. Everyone that we talked to here was absolutely great and perfect confluence of technology, real estate, mortgage, media, all under one. Incredible connection to the community. So many great things to say. I can't wait for the next one. Thank you guys for letting me share this vlog with the entire real estate community. I got to get to the airport. It's time to be late. I will see you guys up here.